Hello. Welcome to an Eltoma Corporate Services webinar. Mr. Philippe, yes, if you have any problems listening to me, please let me know. Sometimes the connection drops and that can cause interruptions on the audio. Nevertheless, you can submit your questions on the chat box or by email, and I will be glad to answer all of your questions. Let's begin with today's webinar. Today, I would like to talk to you about Cyprus. The title is Cyprus, the doorway to Europe, basically because I consider that Cyprus is basically the gateway to the European market, and many companies have chosen Cyprus as the main location to access this important market around the world. So that's basically why I call it the doorway to Europe. My name is Alvaro Rivero. I'm a legal specialist here at Eltoma Corporate Services, and I can help you with any other inquiry that you have regarding Cyprus or other jurisdiction that here at Eltoma manage. All right, let's begin. The agenda for today is basically Eltoma Corporate Services in Cyprus, companies in Cyprus, what type of companies basically are we allowed to incorporate, what is the incorporation process in Cyprus, what are the main requirements for maintaining a company. Many clients do not necessarily have a presence in Cyprus themselves, so they need somebody to help them with maintaining the company in Cyprus. That's basically what we do. We help clients that are in other countries of the world, and they need help maintaining their companies in Cyprus. So we actually render those services as well. And please, if what I'm going to talk about company maintenance, it might be general, but if you have any specific questions, please just let me know. We're also going to talk about the tax treatment. Basically, one of the key benefits of Cyprus is the taxation. So we're going to brief over it, and we're going to finish with the key benefits of this important jurisdiction. All right, so Eltoma Corporate Services has been in Cyprus since 2004. It has been offering legal and financial services in Cyprus for many individuals and companies. The main services we have provided are consultation on corporate and tax matters, as well as internationally, and basically accounting, audit, and bookkeeping. We currently have other offices in Russia, Ukraine, and Singapore. We are increasingly expanding to key jurisdictions for international business. So let's talk a little bit about companies in Cyprus. The legal system in Cyprus is common law, which is managed by other important jurisdictions like the US, the UK, Hong Kong, and other former British colonies. So basically, this type of legal system is known for being quite business friendly because it's very efficient and it's very dynamic to keep up with basically with the needs of doing business. Different than civil law, where basically it's more remarked to the law itself and not really case law. So that is why it basically lacks a little bit of time in terms of keeping up with the advances of other economies that manage a common law legal system, particularly. The process of incorporating a company in Cyprus is very straightforward, and in our experience can take approximately 2 weeks to be completed. The applicable law in this sphere is the Companies Law, Chapter 113. The Cyprus Company Law regulates the different forms of companies, their minimum requirements, and statutory obligations. The principal forms of companies in Cyprus are public limited liability company, private limited liability company, or branch of foreign corporation. Obviously, there are a few other types of companies available, but these are the most common. And in practice, these basically are the companies that you are going to choose easily because of the requirements are very straightforward. There are no complications among this. So I'd say 80% of the companies in Cyprus are actually incorporated in this way. On the other hand, public liability companies have unrestricted ability to transfer stock. Well, these are listed companies and publicly traded. Can be composed by more than 50 shareholders and have the right to undertake an IPO process. So basically, these are more open companies than what we're going to talk in a minute, the private limited liability. As in terms of raising capital, basically this is the way to go. Public liability companies are easily managed. However, they do have a few more requirements than private limited liability companies because basically they are open to the public. Anybody could potentially invest in this company. That is why the regulator is putting a little bit more of requirements for these type of companies. On the other hand, private liability companies have a maximum of 50 shareholders, and it restricts the transfers of shares and prohibits the public offering of shares or debentures of the company. They do, however, can change the status along the way. For example, if you start a company as a private limited liability company, and you potentially are growing and expanding your business, and you need to raise capital some other way that is not only debt financing, you might want to consider converting your company into a public liability company, which is possible, and you just need to follow certain requirements and submit certain documents to the regulator to be able to do so. Lastly, a branch of foreign corporation allows a non-resident company to operate in Cyprus and will be generally taxed under the same rule as a domestic company. Let's look at company incorporation. Please, also, if I'm going too fast or moving on too fast, please let me know in the chat box so I can go back a few steps and slow down. It's very important for me so everybody is on the same page. So certain formalities must be undertaken when incorporating a company in Cyprus. The principal documents upon incorporation shall consist of the memorandum and articles of association. Basically, in any other common law jurisdiction is the same requirement. Where the name of the company is objectives such as business scope and so on. Internal regulations and obligations will be described in detail. Here at Eltoma Corporate Services, we provide that service as well. We draft the memorandum and articles of association both in English and in Greek, and we submit them to the buyer for the incorporation. Now, it's important to note that the memorandum and articles of association must be signed by a qualified lawyer, Cypriot lawyer. So basically, yeah, we need a legal representation in Cyprus for doing this, which Eltoma Corporate Services has. We do have lawyers eligible to sign these documents and submit them to the regulator without any problem. Fundamental elements such as the board of directors, obviously minimum you need one director, a minimum authorized share capital can be €1, but obviously in practice is more reasonable to have €1,000 as the authorized share capital. A company secretary and registered address in Cyprus are also requirements for the incorporation process. The company secretary is more than just a formality. The company secretary will undertake many administrative tasks that obviously the directors or shareholders do not have time to do. Filing requirements, office address, maintaining the office, basically having all of the back office of the company basically settled. That's what the company secretary does, and there are companies that provide these services, such as Eltoma Corporate Services. Public companies must have a minimum share capital of €25,629. That is as of 2017. I don't foresee any changes on that for 2018, but obviously we have to keep notice on that. Whereas a private company has a minimum authorized share capital of at least €1. As I said before, it is common practice to establish a share capital of at least 1,000. Especially if you're looking to open a bank account, you obviously need to demonstrate that you have invested in the company and that you actually believe in your company and that you believe that your company is going to do well. So especially for bank account purposes, having a solid share capital would increase your chances of being accepted as a client. Companies in Cyprus must appoint a company secretary to prepare and file the documents of the company before the regulators. What does the 55 financial deadline do? I don't know where did you get the 55? Well, I will answer your questions by email, Mr. Philip, and don't worry about that. Companies in Cyprus must appoint a company secretary to prepare and file the documents of the company before the regulators, among other responsibilities. As I said before, these companies, the secretary basically needs to deal and be the liaison with the tax authorities, for example, with the company's registrar, to keep all of the documents up to date and all the registry up to date. So whenever the regulator decides to go and check the original documents to the register office of the company secretary can easily just display all of the documents necessary that the authority needs to see, and that would avoid any problems to the company in the future. As well as filing any changes in the corporate structure, which is mandatory in Cyprus. If there is a change of director or shareholder, that also must be submitted to the registrar, and if it affects the Internal Revenue Authority, then definitely needs to be registered in the tax authority as well. Once these fundamental elements have been decided, the name of the company must be approved before the registrar of companies in Cyprus. This process takes about 2 to 5 days on average. It's usually fast. There is a website available where one can check the availability of a name online, where you can see basically if the name of the proposed company exists or not. However, it's also important to formally submit the name of the company that you are pretending to incorporate to the registrar, so the registrar can actually analyze whether or not it enters into conflict with another already incorporated company with a similar name. They just want to avoid confusion between companies, so they give you an answer within 2 to 5 days, basically approving or denying the name that you have proposed. If your name has been denied, there's not a problem. We can always submit another proposed name again, obviously for an extra fee for the regulator, and to get it approved again. So basically the denial is not a problem. You can apply for a name as many times as you wish. After the name approval, the memorandum and articles of association must be submitted to the registrar for registration, and the registrar will issue a certificate of incorporation. Finally, a recently incorporated company is required to be registered before the tax authorities within 60 days from the date of incorporation. That's very important to do and not to miss the deadline to avoid any type of conflicts with the tax authority. Company maintenance. As I said before, Eltoma Corporate Services has been dealing with this since 2004. With very highly qualified professionals that are helping to maintain companies from many different countries. And right now we are handling a big wide portfolio of companies that we are helping and assisting with all the secretarial services that are needed. So basically, the main requirements are The financial statements must be prepared and filed annually through the HE32 form, along with the minutes of the annual general meetings that are mandatory. All companies in Cyprus must prepare accounts in accordance with international financial reporting standards, and these must be audited in accordance with the internal auditing standards IAS. Failure to prepare and file accounts amounts to a criminal offense, and the company, as well as the directors, may be liable to criminal prosecution accordingly. That is why it's very important to have somebody to administer these issues for the companies, and to never forget when to file the financial statements and the HE32 form, the AGMs, which are the annual general meetings, and to have all the accounts in accordance with the IFRS, the International Financial Reporting Standards, and have them audited as well through the international auditing standards. We do have this service as well. We have professional auditors and accountants that are actually helping companies with this as well. That is not a problem for us to do. Obviously, the company directors must ensure that all records considered necessary for the preparation of the financial statements are maintained according to the company's law. All records must be kept at the register office of the company and must be open for any person to review during business hours. An annual levy of €350 also must be paid to the register of companies. The non-payment of this levy will carry fines and even the striking off of the company from the registry. For every company in Cyprus, it's important to renew the company by the date of incorporation. As well, plus another fee is the levy of 350. Then the VAT, it's another obligation for maintenance. Basically, must be reported on a quarterly basis, and the VAT VS, which is the information exchange system of the VAT in the European Union, must be filed monthly. Even though it's a very important burden to have the monthly filing of the VAT VS, what the VAT VS facilitates, for those who don't know, it's basically to strike off the VAT when trading among other European countries. So basically, if one is rendering goods or services to another European country, and both are registered on the VAT VS, they can basically leave the VAT aside, which is saving a lot of transaction costs to many entrepreneurs. That is one of the main reasons why I say that Cyprus is the key entrance to Europe. To European market, because it's part of the VAT VS. So basically, companies can basically benefit from the VAT VS, and also have the advantages of one of the lowest corporate income tax in among the European countries, and even in the world. Straightforward legislation and all of the benefits that I've been talking about so far. Changes in the companies must be notified to the tax authority of any changes that may affect the records of the Inland Revenue Register within 60 days from the date of the relevant change. For example, just imagine we have a company today that needs to change its director, so the board has decided to accept the resignation and has decided to appoint another director. So this change will have the date of today, and we have 60 days to file this change before the registrar and the tax authorities. So let's continue on. Here on this slide, I'm displaying, obviously these are not all of the applicable taxes, but these are the main corporate taxes that a company must look at when going to any jurisdiction. Right, which is basically the corporate income tax of 12.5%. Only Ireland has a corporate income tax as low as this one, a capital gain tax of 0% or 20%, but 20% is only on the sale of real estate. VAT, it's 19%, which is still low, and I think in Spain is 21%. Dividends are not taxed. Branch remittance taxes are not taxed. Interests are not taxed either. As you can see, Cyprus offers a competitive and transparent tax regime with a corporate income tax of only 12.5%. Cyprus is among the most favorable jurisdictions for business in the world. The corporate income tax is collected through a self-assessment system. Companies pay provisional tax on estimated tax profits during the year of assessment in two equal installments, on July 31st and another one on December 31st. The final tax liability is based on the actual taxable profits of a company and is again paid through a self-assessment system on or before August 1st of the year following the year of assessment. Each company must file its tax returns through Form IR4 no later than December 31st of the year following the year of assessment. Cyprus allows carry forward of loss relief up to 5 years and double tax relief with the countries it has concluded double tax avoidance agreements, so DTA. Currently, Cyprus has signed 56 DTAs and is one of the 71 countries that have signed the multilateral convention to implement tax treaty-related measures to prevent base erosion and profit shifting of the OECD. This is very important because many people think that Cyprus is a tax haven and it's unregulated, and basically it's for shady or dark business, which is completely false. It's not true at all. Cyprus is a full member of the EU, is an active member of the OECD. It has been rated as largely compliant to the exchange of information, which is very important. Not many countries are on that list. So I maintain myself with Cyprus is not a tax haven or one of these kind of jurisdictions. It's a very transparent jurisdiction. It's a very legally solid jurisdiction and ready to do business. The VAT in Cyprus with the rate of 90% applies to goods and services and must be reported on a quarterly basis, as said before. And a company is resident in tax resident in Cyprus if it is managed and controlled in Cyprus. Thank you for the question, Greg. I will reply to you by email. Your question is pretty brief. 0% for companies. There is no capital gains, for example, on the sale of stocks or shares, but there is a capital gain tax on the profits that one makes selling a property. So that's the only difference. Certain criteria should be met in order to obtain tax resident status. Officially and a procedure before the tax authorities is necessary. That's very, very interesting because not necessarily a company that is being incorporated in another country. Imagine a company incorporated in I don't know, in Brazil. This company would like to, for some reason, have tax residency in Cyprus. That is definitely something that they can, especially if they have all of the management and important decisions taken from Cyprus. So that's a big plus. Individuals can also become tax residents in Cyprus if they wish through the 60-day rule, which was a 180 days rule before, but this recently has changed since July 2017. This will allow individuals to enjoy the current tax treatment applicable in Cyprus. So why Cyprus? Here I'm showing a quick print screen of the OECD's official website, where you can see here Cyprus highlighted over there. It's largely compliant. This is as at November 2017 under peer reviews, which is, as you see, it's above all the non-compliant, provisionally, partially compliant, provisionally, largely compliant. Cyprus is now largely compliant with other important jurisdictions like Brazil is there, Hong Kong is there, Luxembourg is there, Russia is there, the US is there, the UK is there. Basically, they're all together in the same pot. So again, Cyprus is not a tax haven. Cyprus is not an unsafe jurisdiction. Cyprus offers stability, being a full member of the EU, and business-friendly regulation. A clear and straightforward procedure for incorporating a company with feasible requirements that attract different industries from all around the world and act as a foundation for growth and expansion of many businesses internationally. The tax treatment is also a great advantage. Cyprus is not a tax haven and is rated as a largely compliant of exchange of information requirement by the OECD, adding reliability in the companies incorporated in this jurisdiction and allowing access to operating with other European and international companies. A corporate income tax of only 12.5%, one of the lowest in the region, has allowed many businesses to flourish and grow, providing the opportunity to further invest in their business and to stay afloat in this ever-dynamic environment. Furthermore, allowing a company to benefit from a zero rate of VAT on intra-community trade of goods and services. Cyprus is currently the main focus of business doing business in the EU. Eltoma Corporate Services aims to provide our client base with a personal, cost-effective, and efficient service. Our client base has substantially and internationally grown over the years, yet we still retain our core values of professionalism, cost efficiency, and personal service. Our corporate services include, as I said before, company incorporation and maintenance, banking and finance, bookkeeping and accounting services, tax planning, IT and web services. We can basically create the website of the company if necessary, software for business, either for accounting or other purposes, web and marketing services, legal services, immigration services, licenses, and permits. Also, another project of Eltoma Corporate Services at the moment are recruitment services. We have our own website, eltoma-recruitment.com, where vacancies are posted all the time, and many companies can also post their offers in the website for free. And another interesting project is real estate. Due to the ever-increasing importance of CAC regulations for business-related purposes in Cyprus, we have identified how we can help. We have expanded our services portfolio into property. We have a number of unique properties on the market in Cyprus for investment opportunities. Should you wish to find out more about any of the properties on screen, you can do so by entering your email address in the chat box on screen. And one of our property agents will revert to you shortly. Alternatively, you can visit property-.com. Thank you for your attention. I hope you found this information useful. Again, if you have any other questions, please email us to info@eltoma-global.com. We will be glad to answer any of your questions, and if you need our assistance in Cyprus, please feel free to let us know, and we will actually study your case patiently and professionally, and we will give you the best possible answer for your business. Thank you very much again for your attention. You can contact us to these phone numbers. That's the email address again. Have a good day. I hope to have you in another webinar pretty soon. Good day. Bye.